I am Janjanbureh Sonko, and this is QTV Midday News coming to you live from our studios on Caraba Avenue. Thanks for joining us. Here are the main local and sports news headlines. The Migration and Sustainable Development in the Gambia (MSDG) project on Tuesday organized its 7th technical round table to discuss exploring the opportunities of an emergent capital market in the Gambia. At the opening of the annual Janjanbureh Cultural Festival on Saturday, the Vice President, Dr. Aissatou Toure, reiterated government's commitment to transforming the tourism sector and supporting cultural events in the country. One of those affected by the OIC road expansion has described the road's construction project as a positive development for the country. And in sports, the Scorpions have received praise for their exceptional showing against higher-ranked opponents despite exiting at the quarter-final stage against host Cameroon in the AFCON 2021 tournament. Those were the main headlines, and now the news in detail. Do stay with us. Thank you for joining us. Now, the Migration and Sustainable Development in the Gambia project on Tuesday organized its 7th technical roundtable to discuss exploring the opportunities of an emergent capital market in the Gambia. Momodu Lamin Choi has the rest of that story.
This is a technical roundtable comprising shapers and, most significantly, policymakers in Gambia's economy. They are gathered at the National Assembly Auditorium for a technical reflection on how to harness the emergent capital market just a few months after the Capital Markets and Securities Bill was passed into law. With a few or no endowment funds in our banking industry, Professor Jibril Fall sets out the MSDG's ambition for it in the Gambia.
Clearly, the world of perpetual endowment funds is here for us to open up in a new emergent capital markets Gambia. For us at MSDG, we've always thought that endowment funds are particularly important, especially in higher education. And we had put out a challenge to the University of the Gambia, who are friends of us and partners of us, that they should seek to have an endowment fund for the university.
An endowment fund is an investment set aside to make consistent withdrawals from invested capital, and this often supports universities, hospitals, and other social services. The Finance Minister, Mambo Njai, gives the assurance that at the policy level, government is flexible and ready to adapt to innovative financing strategies.
We are ready, but we are not going to give out free money. We are ready to contribute. But whatever we invest, I also expect returns. The university endowment fund you're talking about, this is something very exciting. That through that endowment fund, I am sure even the students that would like to do further education can utilize that endowment fund. But when you go to work, you will be, it's like an attitudinal change. We are now going to subject them not only free scholarships, but when we give you that money, we expect you to come to government, work, and the loans will be deducted from your salary.
The newly passed Capital Markets and Securities Act is expected to stimulate and diversify investments and promote innovative sustainable development financing. Njilan Senghor, the new Trust Bank MD, speaks on behalf of the Gambia Bankers Association about the role of commercial banks in promoting endowment funds and remittance-related financial products.
Commercial banks can only offer these solutions under the ambit of banking sector regulation, regulatory provisions, and prudential guidelines. That means that while commercial banks have an important role to play in promoting endowment funds and remittance-related financial products, there are limitations to the products and services that banks can offer, owing to regulations and risk acceptance criteria.
Exploration of remittance-related financial products for the diaspora is part of the aims of this technical dialogue. Dr. Sekou Jabi, the Deputy Director of Central Bank of the Gambia, shares an update of the Gambia's 2021 total remittance figures, revealing that Gambia's remittance inflow in 2021 amounted to $776.6 million, equivalent to more than $41 billion, a 31% growth from $589 million in 2020. Mohamed Lamin Choi, QTV News.
Now, the Vice President, Dr. Aissatou Toure, speaking on Saturday at the opening of the annual Janjanbureh Cultural Festival, reiterated government's commitment to transforming the tourism sector and supporting cultural events in the country. And Sumana Isonyasi has the rest of that story.
Founded in 1832, the island of Janjanbureh, also known as Makati Island, is home to some of the most popular historical sites in the country. Its population is made up of descendants of freed slaves who first settled on the island, and several other tribes. Known for its many historical heritage sites, the town annually organizes a cultural festival to celebrate its rich cultural history. At the opening of the 2022 edition on Saturday, the Vice President, Dr. Aissatou Toure, commended the organizing committee and the Ministry of Tourism for ensuring the successful hosting of the program. Meanwhile, she reiterates government's unwavering commitment to building a culture-centered tourism sector that will be the envy of many in the sub-region.
We'll continue to work towards building an inclusive and dynamic culture-centered tourism sector where the needs of community like yours are well taken care of and always prioritized, where the protection of cultural identity, the civil liberties, and its valorization for jobs and growth is always supported and nurtured.
Hamad N.K. Ba, Minister of Tourism and Culture, and Hassum Sise, Director General of the National Center for Arts and Culture, both spoke of the importance of organizing cultural events such as the Janjanbureh Annual Cultural Festival, adding that government recognizes the local organizing committee's efforts to safeguard and promote the island's rich cultural history. They also revealed that next year's edition will be held in April in commemoration of the 200 years anniversary of the founding of the island.
The importance of Janjanbureh to the Gambian history. I mean, we need to reflect back as far back as 1823, when the first freed slave landed in this island. And we must be proud of that. Will be 200 years next year. And I think that we will now need to see how we're going to celebrate that nationally and internationally.
Since 2018, there has been an explosion in community, regional, and village festivals. So really, the gains of the 2016 change of government is directly reflected in the cultural domain.
Omar Jato Jata and Mohamed Lamin Sedikan, Chairman and Head of Marketing and Publicity of the Organizing Committee, respectively, expressed profound gratitude to government and their sponsors for supporting what they say is an event that provides a unique experience of Gambian culture.
We came together to actually revive this initiative in making it an annual event. And the reason why we actually developed the initiative to be an annual event is also to encourage young people have work around the island, more especially around the creative industry.
The Janjanbureh at 200 must be celebrated because that is something that the community must organize a week-long celebration to announce to the entire world this community is the second oldest official community in the Gambia after Banjul.
The festival is organized to showcase the unique cultural expression of the Kankurang and other masking traditions of West Africa, and it draws visitors from all over the continent and beyond, further enhancing the island's visibility and attracting more visitors to experience its cultural heritage. Over 200 visitors grace the festival each year. The festival also provides direct employment for at least 40 youths and promotes collaboration between the island and its neighboring villages. Ansumana Sonyase for KTV News.
Exciting images there from the Janjanbureh Kankurang Festival. Now, demolition is underway in the Senegambia area ahead of the construction of the roads for the 2022 OIC Summit. One of those affected has described the road expansion project as a positive one. Babu Kasi has the rest of that.
The demolition work has now reached the Senegambia area for the first phase of the road project. During our visit to the area, we found evidence of the demolition of property and efforts by those affected to rebuild parts of their perimeter walls after moving back to create more space for the new road. Mfali Fadera, the head of branding and communication at the OIC Gambia Secretariat, says people have every reason to accept development projects.
The contractors are in high gear, they are in action. And that in itself shows that the work is progressing really well. We are really happy that they've come this far. As you can see, what they are doing now is to clear the right-of-way. And after clearing the right-of-way, they also need the space to create alternative routes and diversions. so that vehicles and commuters can use once the work has started. That is where we are right now, and after that is done, we'll also move to the next stage of moving the utility services and the different utility services that we have, water, electricity, and the like. So things are really moving, and we are really excited as a secretariat and our stakeholders in all this. We are really excited that things are moving and moving in the right direction, definitely.
Mr. Fadera added that those affected will be compensated, and this will be done by government and not the donor partners. He further explains the project.
The first phase stops at Senegambia. So that is the target. We divided this project into two phases, phase 1 and phase 2. Phase 1 is from the airport junction all the way to Senegambia here. That is where the focus will be for the next 10 to 14 months. And after that, then we will start from Senegambia all the way to Stinkona. That will be the second phase.
The head of branding and communication further told us that they have received little or no resistance from those affected, which is a sign that Gambians have welcomed the development.
We are doing everything we can to make sure all our actions are in line with the law, and so far so good. You know, everything that is required of us, the stakeholders, we have done, the noticing period and all those things. So I think that is why, in fact, there is less resistance. In fact, people are even cooperating. From what we hear, people have no qualms, and in some cases, that some people even desire to be more proactive. The moment they receive the notice, they will go and start dismantling their properties on their own in a way and a manner that they like and prefer, with less disruption, which is very, very impressive.
Lawyer Badu Conte, who is among those affected by the demolition, describes the exercise as a good move to decongest our highways.
Actually, it will affect my business because now customers are not coming, and it's very hard now to walk on the back way to come to the restaurant and also to come to my office. But actually, I'm not very sad because this is nation building and this road is congested. People normally been affected when going to the airport. Going from here to the airport or going here to Turntable can take you 2 hours, 3 hours. So I'm affected, but because of its nation building and I'm a patriotic citizen, I take it in good faith. I have no problem.
The lead road in the project is the Airport Bath-and-Haden Highway. The road expansion work for the highway will last for 12 to 14 months for phase 1, and phase 2 will start from Senegambia to Stinkona. Babu Karsi, QTV News.
Now looking forward to the completion of the project. We will go for a short commercial break, and when we come back, we have some more local news stories as well as sports. Do stay tuned.
nga bëgg a jot sa xaalis si num gën a gaawee te yobba léegi ak Ria mun ngaa jot sa xaalis bàyyeekoo sa bitim réew si sa Q Money te doo si fay dara boo jotee ab xibaar si sa téléphone bi ne jot nga koppar bu bàyyeekoo sa bitim réew mun ngaa dem seet Q Money agent bu la gën a jege jot sa xaalis te doo si fay dara bu la neexee mun nga koo jëndee crédit Q Power wala jëfandikoo ak yeneen Q Money service yi gaaw na wóor na te noppale na pour am si lu la wóor woo ñu si 133 Q Money suñu kalpe lii dafa ànd ak sarta.
Welcome back from that short commercial break. If you're just tuning in, this is QTV Midday News, and I am Janjanbureh. Now, Green Up Gambia, in collaboration with the British High Commission, held the documentary screening of the Great Green Wall Frontline documentary. This is my report, and considering that 18% of its ambition has not been achieved since its initiation 10 years ago. Great Green Wall is an ambitious initiative spanning from Senegal in West Africa to Djibouti in East Africa to bring back degraded landscapes, grow climate resilience, food security and jobs for the millions who live along its path. The Great Green Wall has the ambition to restore 100 million hectares of currently degraded land, create 1 million rural jobs, and sequester 250 million tons of carbon. Activists say the Great Green Wall is not owned and championed by the millions of people living across the Sahel and drylands of Africa, and the ambition will not be achieved without taking account of that. This concept gave birth to the Great Green Wall Frontline. This is working to bring fresh energy into the process by putting money and tools into the hands of frontline communities. According to Maimuna Jabi of Green Up Gambia, the movie screening is to remind people in the Gambia of the need to push to make the Great Green Wall ambition happen.
So the Great Green Wall is an initiative by the African Union, which has been going on for a decade since inception, but sadly only 18% have been completed. This is due mostly to the fact of the voices of the people on the ground actually who are doing the work, their voices not being heard, and most of the funds being geared towards bureaucratic, diplomatic missions and things that actually don't make sure the effect of climate change as the Sahel is suffering are being seriously solved. So we have seen this as a movement that really needs the voices of the frontliners meaning the communities, meaning the activists on the ground, the people who are actually doing the planting. We're saying the trees are going to save the planet, so let's hear the models, models and the approaches that these people are doing to actually adapt to climate change.
Part of the participants at the Great Green Wall documentary screening is Buba Waijane from the Gunjur Youth Movement, which is among organizations championing tree planting exercises in the Gambia, especially along the coastline.
Well, I must say that I am very delighted to see Great Green Wall to come up with such an initiative. I think this is a great initiative, looking at the work or looking at all what the young people are doing in their various community is to actually fight against climate change. So I see this, this particular movement, Great Green Wall, has an organization or a movement that is trying to actually complement the effort of those young people, you know, that are actually making changes in their various communities.
Green Up Gambia is a youth-led movement which engages in climate change mitigation and adaptation in urban and rural villages. The organization started as a project of Climate Watch the Gambia in September 2016 in commemoration of the International Day for the Preservation of the Ozone Layer, and by 2017 became an independent organization. Reporting for QTV News, I am Jennifer Sonko. Now, zebra crossings are installed in highways to enhance the safety of pedestrians at existing crossing points. However, on most of our highways, drivers and pedestrians seem to know little about the black and white lines road markings. Fode Mane went out to gauge public opinion in relation to the understanding of zebra crossings, and he fastened this report.
Pedestrians are given priority over vehicles on zebra crossing, allowing them to cross the road safely. However, with an increase of vehicles in the traffic in the Greater Banjul area, there appears to be little understanding of using the black and white lines on the roads, as both pedestrians and drivers keep ignoring the crossing. Mamadou Ndaw, a pedestrian, says he observed that most people don't know the significance of the zebra crossing and appealed to the authorities to raise awareness of these road markings.
I believe it will go with advocacy as well. People, the advocacy need to be going. People need to know, because like, if you know Gambia, understand, like, not everybody understand road trafficking. Most of the drivers don't even understand road trafficking. So it involves the people itself and the drivers. You need to create awareness for the drivers to understand the use of zebra crosses. When people stand at the lane for crossing where the zebra cross is, they need to stop for people to pass at the starting stage. And people need to understand, if you want to cross, there is a zebra crossing, you stand at the zebra crossing so the drivers will give you a way to cross.
Mamadou also commended a youth-led organization, Flag Up Gambia, for their latest initiative to install zebra crossing on various highways.
In the Gambia, I can say we have few, if there is, zebra crossing. But thank God, I will say, seeing young people with the Flag Up Gambia, Usainu and the crew started creating zebra crossing on the highway, which is something that I acknowledge. And it is something I believe that will also minimize maybe accidents when you come to crossing, and school children also will be very pleased and will be having easy movement of crossing from their school and to the other part of the road.
Mahmoud Sise is a driver who frequently uses the highways. He told us the importance of the zebra crossing to drivers, but also offered a precautionary advice to pedestrians using the crossings.
Zebra crossing is very important.
It is important for all of us because we all use the highway. Drivers need to allow pedestrians when they are on the crossing. This is not only for good driving skills, but it will also keep you out of trouble with the law. And pedestrians too need to understand one person cannot stop a vehicle on a zebra crossing. It has to be 2, 3 to 5 people at a go.
Lamin Sise also shared his view.
From zebra crossing,
Zebra crossings are important. If drivers get closer to it, say within 15 meters, They need to reduce their speed, and no pedestrians are crossing or waiting to cross to avoid accidents.
Zebra crossings are marked with alternate black and white strips on our roads to warn drivers that there may be pedestrians crossing or waiting to cross the road. However, from what we saw and heard, there should be greater civic education programs so everyone knows their rights when it comes to these crossings. Reporting for QTV News, I am Fode Mane.
From that story by Fode Mane, let's take a look at what is happening in the world of sports. The Scorpions have received praise for their exceptional showing against higher-ranked opponents, despite exiting at the quarter-final stage against host Cameroon in the ongoing 2021 AFCON tournament. QTV's Aliou Cisse looks at the Scorpions' journey in the tournament.
After decades of unsuccessful attempts, on 25th March 2021, the Gambia inked their name in the history books of African football when they qualified for their maiden African Cup of Nations AFCON appearance. The Scorpions booked their ticket at the tournament following a 1-0 victory over Angola in the qualifiers. The team had to start from the preliminary round of qualifying as they were among the lowest ranked teams in the continent. They were pitted against Djibouti in a double-legged tie, which they won on post-match penalty shootouts in Banjul after a 2-2 aggregate draw. Goalkeeper Modi Diop was the hero, serving 2 penalties as the Gambia progressed to the qualification proper after finishing top of their group ahead of Gabon, Angola and DR Congo, something described as incredible campaign by the boys. The Gambia's historic qualification was masterminded by coach Thompson Feet, who transformed the team into a competitive one. The team is a combination of youth and experience with the likes of Musa Barrow, Abdoulaye Diallo, Pa Modou Diagne, Ibrahima Sona, goalkeeper Modi Diop and Umar Colley. The Scorpions' performances in this tournament have been attributed to many things, including how the team is taken care of and better traveling arrangements before the tournament. Beyond that is the support from the public and government, together with readiness and hunger from the players. On 2 international friendlies, the team traveled by chartered flight. The Gambian president hosted them to a farewell dinner at the State House, where he handed them a battle flag. The Gambia government also committed $90 million for the team's participation. The team's qualification and respectable performances in Cameroon against Mauritania, Mali and Tunisia to reach the quarterfinals made every Gambian proud. The Gambia went to the tournament as minnows and the lowest ranked team, but proved they were in Cameroon to compete after 1-0 win over Mauritania in their opening game before completing the group stage with a 1-1 draw with Mali and 1-0 win over 2005 AFCON winners Tunisia to book their place in the last 16 against Guinea. Coach Thompson Faith's boys again surprised the world, beating Guinea 1-0 to qualify for the quarterfinal, where host Cameroon ended the team's exceptional journey with a 2-0 win. Back home in the Gambia, fans stormed the streets to celebrate the boys' achievements. Despite a delay in the Scorpions' return to Banjul due to flight-related issues, which has left players and fans furious, the Scorpions will be remembered for being the team that qualified the country to its first AFCON and reaching the quarterfinal at their first outing. The tournament has also helped potentially to expose players, many of whom are playing in smaller leagues across the world, to bigger clubs. The Scorpions return to action in March when they will play Chad in the preliminary for the group stage qualifying round for the 2023 AFCON in Ivory Coast. Moving forward, there is a need for more investment to improve the game by improving the country's sports infrastructure, as the country has only one stadium which was built in the early 1980s. Reporting for QTV News, I am Aliou Cisse.
Once again, congratulations to the Scorpions for making it to the quarterfinals. Now, before we leave, let's recap our main headlines. The Migration and Sustainable Development in the Gambia MSDG project on Tuesday organized its 7th technical roundtable to discuss exploring the opportunities of an emergent capital market in the Gambia. At the opening of the annual Janjanbureh Cultural Festival on Saturday, the Vice President of the Gambia, Dr. Aissatou Touré, reiterated government's commitment to transforming the tourism sector and supporting cultural events in the country. One of those affected by the OIC road expansion project, lawyer Badu Conte, has described the road's construction project as a positive development for the Gambia. And in sports news, the Scorpions have received praise for their exceptional showing against higher-ranked opponents despite exiting at the quarterfinal stage against host Cameroon in the AFCON 2021 tournament. Well, that is all we have for you in this edition of QTV Midday News. Do join us at 8 p.m. for more news. Have a nice day.